Hello, Steve and Cody with one of our videos from our true crime series. And the true crime series, remember, is about horses involved in policing. And so you could say to a degree that what I'm going to tell you about perhaps is a crime in some ways. We'll see. So, 28th of April 1838, the South Australian Police was created. Those blokes were paid 30 shillings a week. That's the equivalent of $3 a week when they started. And the poster that went around for recruiting said all that was needed was active young men. Move on a few decades and we come to a man called Lewis George Madley. So we've now moved to 1896 and Lewis George Madley becomes commissioner. What's interesting about this, and any police officers or former police officers will have some comments or views on this, is that Madley was the first Commissioner of Police for South Australia that hadn't risen from the ranks. He was appointed by the government from outside the police service. Now there's a slip. Police force. It was called the police force up until recently, and then political correctness changed it to the police service. The whole time I was there, it was the police force, and there I go. I slip into modern PC vernacular, the police service. But anyway, moving on. So he was the first police commissioner from outside the police force, and of course there was some resentment to that. But if you think that's bad, he came from being what was his official title? The Principal of Teachers Training School. He was the head of teaching teachers, the teaching school. So what happened when he came in? He found out a huge majority of the police, serving police, mounted police, foot constables, couldn't read and write. Can you believe that? There was no examination. No, if they liked the look of you, you became a copper prior to 1896. So, straight away, this man introduced an entrance exam. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and read out to you a couple of questions from the entrance exam for you to see how you would go these days entering the South Australian Police before the year 1900. The police in 1896 were paid £78,000. If the population at the time was 364,000, what is the cost per head of the police department? How many threepenny pieces, how many threepenny pieces are there in 42,756 guineas? Now a guinea is £1, 1 shilling. If a constable walks his beat at the rate of 80 paces, with each pace being 27 inches per minute, what distance does he cover in 6 hours? Last question. There were only 6 questions to join. A reward of £11 and 11 shillings is going to be divided between the sergeant and 4 constables. The sergeant will receive twice as much as each individual constable. What does the sergeant receive? Okay, see how you go, maybe write that down and see if you've got any hope at all of passing the 1896 entrance exam. And I'll leave you with one other thing that commissioner introduced. Do you ever say, bloody police, they've got numbers, they have to make certain numbers per month? And the police say, no, we don't have to make certain numbers a month. But really, they say that, but how do you keep track of if a bloke's lazy or if he's not working? And one of the first things that commissioner did, is he looked at the number of arrests that were made that year. It was 2,400. Then he looked at the constables. He wanted to know how many arrests each individual constable made. One had made 3 arrests, one had made 4 arrests, and one had only made 6 arrests. He was so appalled by the laziness of some officers. He introduced the system where every month the work had to be recorded of how many cautions and reports and arrests an officer made. So that was done prior to 1900, and it still exists to this day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it made sense. 12 shillings in a 12 pence in a... Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it made sense. Like, comment, be confused, subscribe. Cheers, thank you.